Hi guys, this is R.A. Sweeney here to talk to you about a passage from the book Praying with the Book of Praises. So today we're going to talk about the first prayer in the Psalms, and I know a lot of people look at the Psalms as being entirely made up of prayer. I don't think that really fits at least how I've been treating prayer as conversation with God or talking directly to God. Not all of the book of Psalms is prayer in that way. So today we're talking about the first one. And so in the Psalm here, it starts out, there's a little heading at the beginning of at least most of the Psalms that gives you a little bit of context or what the Psalm is for. And so this one says it was written by David when he was fleeing from Absalom, which is his son that, you see later in David's life when, peace is starting to come about that he kind of slackens a little bit in some of his rule and his son kind of takes over things and then launches a coup. And so he's on the run from his own son who's trying to kill him and usurp his kingdom. And so throughout the psalm, David talks about his struggles and how he is insignificant, but God is his significance. And you can think through David's story and some of the ways in which, his backstory isn't significant. And I get into some of, the history of the line of David and how that came about. And it's not real honorable when you think about it. And then some of the things that happen in David's life and, some of the curses that that people tried to put on him and things like that. And so he's reflecting on all those things, but he says, God, you're my significance. I don't need to worry about all the bad stuff about me because I have you. And I don't need to worry about the fear of my son coming after me because I have you. And so it really kind of just lays out all the problems. And you think it's going to be this prayer of lament, but it really turns into this really awesome prayer of praise and worship because God is David's significance. He's the one that props David up, and so he's just giving thanks that he has that in God. And so in the end, like I said, it starts out with David was fleeing from the face of his son, and it ends with, you're going to slap the face of my enemies. You're going to shatter their teeth, meaning taking away their power. So you're going to, remove their power. You're going to put them to shame, but it kind of ties together. It bookends the prayer with that face imagery, which I think is kind of cool too. So we explore all that stuff in the passage. We get into, David's backstory and how some of that all comes together, but it's a really cool prayer about just rejoicing in God being the things that we can't be in ourselves. So that's what I wrote about for this one. Thanks, everyone.